An Atlanta dog rescue is sharing a warning after something went terribly wrong during an RV rental. A dog it was transporting nearly died from severe burns, and they claim it happened because of a mechanical problem with that RV. Reveal investigator Andy Perotti explains what happened and what to do if something similar happens to you.
Come on, Dix. Dix, come on.
Dixie is walking proof she's the ultimate underdog.
Dixie, come on, Dix.
She's a wonderful, spirited, happy pup who is enjoying life in every way.
Partially paralyzed after someone shot her twice and proving everyone wrong.
Good girl.
In 2019, 11 Alive featured Dixie and her foster parent, Paula Rothman, who nursed her back into recovery.
When Dixie first came to Georgia, she was told there was no hope.
We took her to UGA and they told us that there was zero chance she would ever walk again and to euthanize her.
Come on, Dix.
Dixie survived the shooting, but more than 2 years later, she nearly died again.
Here we are, it's the end of day one.
This past June, Rothman rented this 2018 Ford RV from Cruise America to drive Dixie across the country and drop her off at a sanctuary in Washington state that specifically cares for disabled dogs. Dixie laid down on the floor in between the driver and passenger seats. Just hours into the trip, something went horribly wrong.
I reached down on the floor to get something a few hours into the trip, and the floor was so hot. It was burning hot. We immediately knew that something was wrong. We had no idea that the burns would be 3rd degree and the skin would blister.
These are pictures of the burns, which we've digitized because they're too graphic to share.
If you didn't go and reach down and grab something on the floor, Dixie may have been...
I can't imagine. She would have died.
Rothman believes a missing or malfunctioning heat shield, typically installed to protect passengers from heat created by the engine, caused the problem. Cruise America says nothing was wrong with the vehicle, but its insurance has offered to pay for Dixie's medical bills. A company vice president told 11 Alive it pulled the vehicle out of service for inspection, but that didn't happen until about a month later, after contacted by 11 Alive.
Really unfortunate.
Jason Levine is executive director of the Center for Auto Safety, a consumer advocacy group.
It's really concerning to the extent that there's something that can cause harm, whether it be to an animal or a person, inside the vehicle. The people responsible for the vehicle were put on notice that that's what's happening, and yet they're just putting it back in the stream of commerce. It's immoral, really.
While there are no recalls associated with heat shields connected to Rothman's rental, Ford has issued recalls associated with newer models.
The fact that there's not currently a recall on something where you're having a problem does not indicate that this is anomalous, it's a freak incident. In fact, most of the time, the things we deal with the Center for Auto Safety, people think are freak accidents, and they turn out to be, unfortunately, predictable and preventable problems.
Rothman wants Cruise America to put warning labels inside its RVs. The company says that's not happening.
Take responsibility for it. You maintain the vehicles, you service them before they go out on the road. It's not a new vehicle. You should have known this.
If something similar happens to you, the Center for Auto Safety says to make sure you write down that vehicle identification number before you leave the lot. That way you can check for recalls ahead of time. Also, ask the company how often it services its vehicles, then make sure that it's been inspected before you pay.